What's going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to Notes with Nick. I'm really excited because Notes with Nick, if you guys are joining me for the first time, is a no-holds-barred conversation really about topics that trip us up and ultimately hinder us in making progress in the direction we want to go. So, I have the ability to talk about a concept through navigation of storytelling. Ultimately, that's going to help people like you and me break through and figure out exactly what to do next level. So today, we're going to talk about the compound effect. So, jumping right into it, the compound effect. Really, what is it? In short story, if you really think about the compound effect, it's the simple decisions or errors in judgment, good and bad, that we make on a consistent basis that ultimately trip us up or further progress us, which basically dictates the trajectory of success or lack thereof that we're gonna end up seeing. So yeah, this is probably something that's applicable to say, I don't know, everything in life. So how does it work on the positive? You have the ability to elevate specifics about your life over time with the choices that you make, big or small. So if you make simple decisions in regards to your health, your relationships, and you continue to implicate those, then you're probably gonna be further along in a much faster space. But over time, you're actually gonna see much better success just for having done it longer. Truth, it actually works the same in the opposite direction. Slowly moving further away from your ideal circumstances in a particular aspect of your life by making choices that are retroactive. So in short story, say that you start off just eating one cookie a day, just a little extra calories, nothing subtle. Well, if you continue to do that over time in years, you're gonna notice that the weight gain is gonna be pretty significant than if you weren't eating a cookie, say, every day. So, today we're gonna get into a chance to have a story between two different ladies, Jane and Jade. In the end, I want you to really just pay close attention to the subtlety. We're not gonna get overly animated, but we are gonna basically make our point. So let's jump in here. So we have our first character named Jane. So Jane and Jade, just for the sake of argument, are roughly the same person. They live in the same area, they make about the same economic income, they have roughly the same type of lifestyle, and overall, they're about the same level of happiness with their life, their career, their jobs, right? You get the point, across the board, good. All right, excellent. So moving on. What we can see here is that they come to a crisis and Jane decides to make some decisions regarding her health in the gym and things that she's gonna end up doing. So she decides she's gonna eat at least one clean meal per day. That doesn't mean that she's not gonna eat more meals a day. It just means that out of the 3, 4, 2, whatever meal she's gonna eat, she's gonna ensure that one of those is gonna be a smart decision, probably getting some type of phytonutrients, good vegetables, maybe a lean protein source. Habit 2. She's also going to commit to going to the gym at a minimum of 3 times per week. Now, again, why is this important? Well, gym burns calories. With that, you're also around typical affluent people who have an up-boosted mindset. So we'll talk about that in time. Let's meet the counterpart, Jade. Jade is basically going to eat food how she feels. This is very important because so many of us or others can really relate to that. If I feel like pizza, I do pizza. Why? Because this is a democracy and it's a free country. And if I want pizza, I want to feel pizza because I work hard. No harm, no foul. Second habit, she goes to the gym 1 to 2 times per week. She's still committed, but it's volatile. She's not going nearly as much as Jane's going to go. But even in that situation, she's also only going to go basically when she feels like it. And with that, you can expect that she's not going to be as devoted when she's at the gym. So here's the caveat. The compound effect really works in succession, in trajectory to the hard work you put in over time. So our timeline here is gonna start off at 1 and end at 12 weeks. Got me? Maybe? Okay, good. So what I'm gonna do is switch boards here and we're gonna bring in the results. Wonderful. So before I explain this, just in short story, you can see we have a graph here. I'll step out of the way and then we'll talk about how that looks. So the important metrics I want you to understand, just for the sake of argument, down here on this axis is gonna be the weeks. Basically our time. The orange is gonna represent Jade, the blue is gonna represent Jane, and then over here we're gonna talk about the overall levels of satisfaction, self-satisfaction, and how that pertains. So if you remember, Jane and Jade both made 2 different habits. Jane decided she's gonna go to the gym in habit 2 for a minimum of 3 times a week, committed, and she's also gonna eat 1 meal per day ensuring that it's going to be clean, vital, and nutritious to her body. Jade, however, is nonchalant. Like, bro, steak and fries, I had a hard day at work, bring on the vodka, we go out for sushi, it's sake hour, YOLO, okay? So here's how this looks. 5 is the rate of happiness and fulfillment, low levels, high levels. Then you can also see over here, this is 12 weeks, 8 weeks, 4 weeks. So here we can see these two ladies, by the time they're in 2 week, are relatively actually close. Even though Jane has officially been 14 days consistent at a much higher level than Jade, you really can't see the volatility. As a matter of fact, Jane is actually just over the 1 mark and Jade's like at the 1 mark. So very subtle differences. Let's fast forward and look at things 4 weeks. You can begin to see some deviation. Jane is actually making some substantial progress. Again, nothing to, boost and boast about. She's actually about like a 1.8. So she's beginning to see some element of happiness. She's feeling good. She's starting to get recommendations and compliments, but in the end, again, nothing to brag about. Even Jade is beginning to see some progress. Even though she's not quite at Jane, it's worth its weight in gold. Why? Because she still gets a chance to do things. As you can see, it isn't until we actually get to week 8, right, where we're almost 3/4 of the way done, where you begin to see some substantial difference. So when we're over here, just under 2, you can actually see that now Jane has made it almost a 4. Why is that happening? Well, it's happening because of the similar way in compound interest. If you compound a penny every single day for 18 days, you can see that you're actually making a substantial amount of money, but it isn't until about, I think, day 18 where you begin to see massive numbers make dramatic changes. And that's exactly what's happening here. The dramatic changes are beginning to work with her physiology, her psychology, and as a result, she is compounding and moving not only significantly faster, but up. Now, Jade is making strides and she's making results. However, you can also see that she's not really dramatically nearly at the level that Jane is, but she's kind of feeling down. Why? Having that extra food, carrying a little bit extra weight, maybe not feeling as good about yourself, and that commitment level on a day-to-day basis is beginning to be even more volatile. Finally, let's take it to world 12. 12, happy, and you can actually see here at this point, Jade has regressed. Now, how does that happen? How are we in a position where over here, you can see a gradual increase, and then now you see this rounding off and this drop? Well, as you can see, the reason that that's happening is because this is exploited. She's been so consistent and done the work that her life is actually exploding with gratification. She's having a great deal of energy, and as a result, her body is doing things that it wasn't capable of doing over here, and she's working not that much harder than she was when she started. It's just finally that she's actually reaping it on her harvest. Well, again, as you can see, the way the compound effect works, that's the same reason in the opposite direction why Jade is not seeing the results. Ultimately, sugar causes inflammation. She's eating more fast food. She's feeling a little bit more bad about herself. So the motivation, because she's making the decisions based on how she feels in the moment, is increasing and decreasing the volatility of the commitment. Therefore, she actually is probably not going as much as she was over here when she might have felt better, or over here when she might have started seeing some shifts. And as a result, she's regressed. So this is a short, high-level overview of exactly what can end up happening. So barely differences, again, as in summary, for Jane in 2 weeks, whereas with Jade, very comparable. Looking here, you can begin to see that the progress is a little bit slower than Jane. Even though she's making some progress, it's nothing to brag about. When we get to week 8, we can begin to see the significant strides and improvement. Inconsistency and lack of motivation are taking their tolls. Think about how this applies in your day-to-day life. I'll be the gym, your relationships, the way you feel about yourself, and I don't know, say, any other commitments that you make to people. And then most importantly, we get here 12 weeks in, end of a actual semester, radical shifts in the compound effect, and now we dropped off and we're right back from bottom, if not worse. So the take-home message that I want you guys to know with this is that decisions ultimately have consequences, without doubt. And stagnation is a fallacy. What do I mean by that? It means that in the heat of making any kind of a decision, you're actually going to be making a decision that's moving you further towards somewhere you want to go in any circumstance or away. Does that mean that, well, I'm kind of just sustaining? No. On the surface, you might think that you're staying stagnant in this area and kind of holding, but the decisions that you're making are actually moving you further away, or they're moving you incrementally forward. So don't be so sensitive if you're making sacrifices and you're not seeing the results. Why? You're probably like Jane here, where you're in somewhere this position and you just haven't cashed in and seen your harvest. And if you're in a position where you're comfortable, but you're making bad choices and you're not seeing the changes, you might be more like Jade, where yes, you're not seeing that that's having a quintessential impact on your life, but long-term, no bueno, bro. So our take-home message: the decisions you make are either moving you closer or further. Having a level of intent and mindfulness can make all the difference. And having that level of intent and mindfulness in making simple decisions like the ones that Jade made, too, can have a dramatic compound effect in a short period of time in your life. Or errors in judgment, Jade, could ultimately move you and regress you. I want to thank you guys so much for this video. If you think that this video has added an incredible amount of value, or even if it's something that someone you know can benefit, I highly, highly, highly encourage you to do the following. Go down, click the subscribe button. We're releasing more videos, and there's tons of others available on the Natt Fitness page. We'd love for you guys to help us in pushing the message. 2, definitely share this video, whether it's your mom, a coworker, a sister, a spouse who you think would definitely benefit from this. Leave your comments at the very bottom and connect with me on all the other social media platforms. Thank you so much. And without doubt, we look forward to seeing you guys next video. Level up your life, level up nation. Talk to you later.